Go to this boxing, baby. This boxing, but we had a big weekend. We saw that, first things first, man. Best of the best. And we talk about boxing? We came from basketball, talk about best of the best. We got to go talk about boxing, best of the best. None other than Errol Spence, man. He activated that rematch clause against Terence Crawford. Now, I love to see it because despite those foolish peons out there talking about Errol Spence is washed, like, fool, you know that he was pound for pound and Terence Crawford was pound for pound, and they were fighting for overall dominance, and basically say whose era this is. So shout out to them for making the fight, but they were both had an argument for the pound for pound throne. And so when they fought, not only was this their first loss, but this was to determine who's the absolute best. So if you lose to somebody who's number one, why are you washed? Why should you retire? Like, people are just idiots, man. They don't know what it is to work hard for something, man. Even if it's a big gap between 1 and 2, and say Errol Spence is number 2, this was still a battle for number 2. This is still a battle for 1 and 2. Errol Spence's resume is superb. He's beaten the likes of Sean Porter. He just beat Ugas not too long ago. You know what I'm saying? He beat so many people. High caliber boxers. What are we doing? What do you mean he's washed? No, he just lost to Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford showed that he was much better than him at 147, but he's the only one. So I think I'm glad he activated the rematch clause. Now, this is the caveat with activating the rematch clause, though. According to CBS Sports, the loser can initiate the rematch, which I knew. However, I did not know that the winner determines the weight in which the battle will be held. So, that being said, their last fight was at 147. Terence Bud Crawford could make the fight potentially be at 147 again. Oh my gosh, bro! If this fight's at 147, bro, we gotta pray for Errol Spence, man. I'm not gonna lie. Now I'm gonna tell you what I expect. Bud is a stand-up dude, in my opinion. Since I've been following his career, man, shout out to him for, man, he gave me an autograph and he dedicated it straight to me, man. I said, bro, you decided, he said, yo, what's your name? I said, man, you put whatever. He said, no, what's your name? And he dedicated it to me, man. That was real dope. It meant a lot, man. Shout out to Bud. I met Errol Spence as well. He was cool. But so he seems like a stand-up guy. So I fully expected to be at 154 because it was known that Errol Spence had all intentions to move up. Terence Crawford too has a desire to move up, but he can handle the 147 weight a little better than Errol Spence can. But Errol Spence made sure he was a man of his word, and Terence Crawford always celebrates him for that and gives him his flowers and says, Errol Spence could have avoided him and went up, but he said, no, I told you I'm gonna fight you at 147 before I move up, and that's what he did. So I expect Terence Crawford to, return the favor or respond in kind and make that battle at 154, especially considering that he was talking about moving up anyway to fight Charlo, and there's rumors of Canelo. I think they're just flirting with that, but you never know. But either way, if you are going to fight those gentlemen, whether it's Charlo or Canelo, you got to move up to do it, right? So I think that he should move up. Now, obviously, if he fights at 147, that'd be the smart thing to do because he already knows what he can do, and Errol Spence clearly had trouble making the weight, whether he got demolished or not. That's besides the point. He didn't look himself. However, I'm going to be honest, man. It's hard for me to see that Terence Crawford loses at 154 anyway. I think Terence Crawford is just, man, he just looked too smooth in that ring against Errol Spence, man. You know what I'm saying? I do think, I trust Errol Spence. I think he's a great fighter. Terence Crawford's a great fighter. Both Hall of Fame caliber fighters. Definitely top pedigree fighters, man. But I will always stick to this, as great of a fighter that Errol Spence is, in this outfit between Terence Crawford and Errol Spence, Terence Crawford is clearly the better boxer. And I said that before. I still thought that Errol Spence was going to have enough to pull it off, though, because, naturally bigger and stronger. I thought he'd be able to impose his will. But Terence Crawford was definitely the better boxer. I knew that before the first fight. We definitely find that's definitive now. You know what I'm saying? That's proven now. He's definitely the more skilled boxer. And if you look at all the past history of boxers versus who does rematches benefit? The rematch always benefits the better boxer. You know what I'm saying? In this case, not saying that Errol Spence is a brawler, but he's more of a brawler than the boxer in this particular outfit. Errol Spence is definitely a great fundamental boxer, but Terence Bud Crawford is definitely the more skilled boxer. Let's look at the rematch between Andre Ward and Kovalev. Kovalev was the puncher. Andre Ward was a better boxer. He demolished him in the second fight. First fight was close. Second fight was not even Wasn't even worth watching. You know, I love watching because shout out to Sergey Kovalev, shout out to Andre Ward, man. Both of them got their autographs too. Dope dudes. Love watching the box. I think Andre Ward would have been potentially one of the best to ever do it if he would have fought a little more. You know, he had those contractual issues and stuff like that. But I think Andre Ward is definitely underrated, as great as he is. But yeah, it just got worse for Kovalev. What happened? You know what I'm saying? What happened with Deontay Wilder? Shout out to the Bronze Bomber and Tyson Fury. It got worse progressively for Deontay Wilder because Tyson Fury was the boxer, Deontay Wilder was a puncher. So his history, so on and so. I could tell y'all countless examples. So history, you know, they say history repeats itself. It's not just a cliche. I think it's real. So while I'm hoping that Errol Spence could redeem himself, I think that the rematch, whether it's at 147 or 154, I think it heavily favors Terence Crawford. But I think if it's at 154, my boy Errol Spence, hey, man, he has a great chance of avenging his loss. So I'm not counting him out. But if it's at 147, I'm going to watch it regardless. But yeah, it's going to be another demolition. I'm going to be honest, man. And so that's enough for them, man. Speaking of, talk about some other boxers and potential fights, man. We have Frank Martin, who has been deemed the mandatory challenger for Shakur Stevenson. And I like this fight, man. I like this fight. I don't know if it's going to happen. Because, you know, Shakur Stevenson has been looking for a money fight. You know, not a money fight. Let me rephrase that. He's looking for a fight where he can get some money. Because if I say money fight, it gives a connotation like he just wanted money. No, he wants a challenge too, and I believe the young bull. He wants a challenge. He wants to prove himself. But in addition, he also wants somebody that it is known and he can get a large amount of money for, which I don't blame him, man. You know, you're not fighting for free. So I do think that this will be a good match as both of them are undefeated, both up and comers, but Frank Martin hasn't fought anybody on his resume. I think he's 18-0. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know somebody will in the comments. I think he's 18-0, but you know his resume is pretty lackluster as far as high caliber fighters go. And I don't want to disrespect the people on his resume. They all came to fight and stuff like that. I don't like doing talking down or being condescending towards anyone. But the fact remains is that he hasn't fought any high caliber opponents yet. So I don't think Shakur and Frank Martin happen. I anticipate some belt vacancies to happen, and but I would like to see them fight. That would be a good fight, man. And like I said, you know, you got this picture right there. Shakur Stevenson wants the likes of, you know, Lomachenko, Gervonta Davis, even Devin Haney. I want to see Devin Haney, but it has been told to me that Devin Haney wants to split to be 75-25, according to Shea Mosley. And I'm not gonna lie, man, we already knew Devin Haney don't want no smoke with Shakur Stevenson, or you know, he don't want no smoke with Gervonta Davis, Shakur Stevenson, you know. But this proves it. You want it to be a 75-25 split. That means you don't want to fight. You want this man to take so little. You know Shakur Stevens is not going to take that. Who would take that? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I agree with Shea Mosley. Devin Haney doesn't want to fight. If you coming up with that with those crazy numbers, man, you wilding. So yeah, I don't think we'll see Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson, which I would love to see, but I don't think we're gonna see that. He barely breezed by Lomachenko. Some say Lomachenko was robbed. But yeah, man, I think while Shakur Stevenson and Frank Martin is interesting, I would have Shakur Stevenson winning. But I don't think Frank Martin at this point of his career and his resume really is really going to be intriguing for Shakur and his camp, man. So I'm not sure if that's going to happen. I'm doubtful. Then next up, we got Daniel Jacobs, man. Y'all know about Daniel Jacobs, man, the miracle man. You know, he fought off the illness and came back. He wants Jamal Charlo. So you know, Jermell Charlo is fighting Canelo. But Jamal Charlo, the brother, some argue that he was a better Charlo. You know, I hear both things, but you know, he's been on his hiatus due to, you know, he had some mental issues going on, but he announced that he's back into boxing, so that's a good sign. But Daniel Jacobs wants him as a comeback fight. And, you know, Daniel Jacobs, you know, he had a big fight against Canelo. He performed well. He lost, but he performed well. That was his last real fight. He lost his fight to John Ryder, who John Ryder also fought Canelo, and Canelo beat John Ryder. So Daniel Jacobs is nobody to just laugh at. He's a great fighter, you know, in the middleweight division, super middleweight division. He's a great fighter. I don't expect him to get his wish, because I just don't think that, you know, I'm gonna be honest, even if you want a tune-up fight, I think Jacobs is too much of a risk. And it's not, and the fact that he's too much of a risk, and the fact that he's not a household name. So he's not going to be a big draw, and he's going to definitely pose a threat, you know, for the Charlo. So I don't think that's going to happen. I just think that while I would love to see it, I love Daniel Jacobs, But I just don't think that's going to happen because, like I say, he's not a big enough draw, and he's too much of a risk for that. You know, why would you take a risk like that? Where Daniel Jacobs is a beast, man. You know, so it just really doesn't make sense for the Charlos to fight him, in my opinion. They both want to come and prove themselves. You know, they both will be on a comeback tour. But I doubt Jacobs gets this. I think he's just well-wishing. But that'd be fire, though, because if Jamal Charlo could come back and beat Daniel Jacobs, that'd make a statement, you know. But like I said, I don't think it'll be a big draw for the money. So if you're not going to be a big draw, then you might as well take less risk. You know how it goes. So while I would love to see it, I don't think that will happen. I don't anticipate that happening, man. But speaking of, man, y'all see the big baby right there, man. Jared Big Baby Anderson, man. He beat Rudenko via 5th round TKO, I believe it was, and he improves to 16-0 with 15 knockouts, so he's undefeated, man. You know, people are saying he has shades of Muhammad Ali and shades of Mike Tyson in him. Man, I think the young bull's 23 years old, man, out of Ohio, I believe. So he's definitely doing his thing, man. I love watching him fight, man. Definitely a good fighter. I think we need to chill on the comparisons, man. Let him get right, get some more experience under his belt. Get some more fights before we start bestowing all that responsibility and pressure of being these greats like Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali. So, but I do like what I see, man. Definitely a good young and up and comer, man. And he has a potential rival who also fought the same weekend, man, named Jalalov, I believe Jalalov. It could be a potential rival. He won via 1st round stoppage. He improved to 13-0, and he's a knockout artist himself. He's 13-0, all knockouts. Jared Big Baby Anderson, he's 16-0, 15 knockouts. So we can see a potential clash at the heavyweight division between Bakodir Jalalov, I believe is his name, and Jared Anderson. That'd be good, man. You know, to improve himself. I think all this is building up momentum, you know. And then, yeah, man, I look forward to it, man, because America. We had Deontay Wilder, and, you know, he's still going through his thing. He's still there. But, you know, America loves the heavyweight division. So an American at the heavyweight division will boom boxing. You know, I'm a huge boxing enthusiast. I love when boxing is on top. So, man, that'd be fire, man. So shout out to him for winning this match again, man. Young bull. He going crazy right now, man. Definitely keep your eyes on Jared Anderson, man. Jared Big Baby Anderson, man. And also, one more thing, man. Speaking of Ali, man, we have somebody who has finally lost, bro. And I say finally lost. Nico Ali Walsh, man. He finally lost. Not because I'm rooting for him to lose, but I'm not gonna lie. I feel like, man, sometimes these people that have some type of name attached to them already, they don't have to prove themselves, and they get coddled a little bit, man. So Nico Ali Walsh, I don't know if y'all watched him. He's related to Muhammad Ali. I believe it's his grand nephew or great nephew. I can't remember exactly, but you know, he lost a close middleweight bout against Sona Akali, who's a Cameroonian boxer. He's from Cameroon. Hopefully I didn't butcher his name, but I think it's Sona Akali. And Sona Akali beat Nico Walsh by majority decision. Nico Ali Walsh was understandably upset, but I'm gonna be honest, man. I watched it, but I'm not too impressed, man. I don't like knocking anybody because boxing is a tough sport, and I respect all boxers, but you know, it feels like he was kind of coddled a little bit and protected a little bit, man. You got to prove yourself, man. Just because, you know, your great uncle or your grandfather or your father is in this doesn't mean you got to do that too. And I don't think he was. I definitely don't think he was as good as his name implies and couldn't really carry the weight. So that's why I say finally lost, because I think this loss was more unexpected. I think that's why he was so, you know, that a lot of the upset comes with the fact that it wasn't expected. You know, I believe that his camp probably thought he would lose. If he was gonna lose, he would lose to somebody that's like proven, somebody that's like a known fighter. But you know, I think sometimes, you know, you can do other things. You don't have to follow up your forefathers or your father or your mother's profession. You know, you gotta have that passion. And yeah, so it was a decent fight. No, it was a pretty good fight, but like I said, I was never really too impressed with him, to be honest, man. If I'm being very honest, I wasn't really too impressed with Nico anyway. So yeah, he took his first L, man. And look, man, this is when you could potentially bounce back. So it's not all over with. You know, you could potentially bounce back. Look at Bernard Hopkins, I believe, lost his first fight, or you know, and he went on that crazy streak. Go check out the YouTube. Consider being a YouTube member, because I'm going to be dropping the full episode, but it's only going to be accessible to YouTube members. and those that are on the Patreon. So you can check in the video in the description of the video. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, think about subscribing, help your boy out, man. Show your boy some love. You appreciate the episodes and stuff like that. Also hit us up on the email engineearstothestreetz@gmail.com with all your comments, and we'll definitely address those in the next episode. I'll be happy to, man. All your critiques, things that you agree with, things that you disagree with. Yeah, so from the hood to college, both worlds they had to meet. 6 degrees between us, so cold we're about to freeze, but we're Florida boys. Hot takes, we bring the heat. We're moving the culture, the engineers to the streets.